Kim Dozier. Kimberly, first let's just start with the severity here diplomatically. We talked about it from a military perspective, but from this perspective, what's the damage?
Well, the talks, as Camila mentioned, are still scheduled to go on. Israel says they're still sending their delegation for the next stage. And in a sense, Hezbollah has been a side player in those talks. It has threatened to continue to attack Israel until the fighting in Gaza ceases and Israeli forces withdraw from Gaza. But the most important thing is that there wasn't major damage and there weren't so far any fatalities reported on the Israeli side. There have been some reported on the Lebanese side. For the IDF, fatalities, that's the red line. You'll recall that when a number of children were killed while practicing soccer in a northern village, that prompted a major response. So at this point, each side carried out hundreds of attacks, but the damage is minimal, to the point that some in the Arab world are making fun of the Hezbollah group for not causing more damage. And also Israelis in the north are complaining that really the IDF only took this extraordinary measure because cities in central Israel were threatened, whereas some 60,000 people are still displaced from northern Israel because of a constant barrage, daily barrage of Hezbollah rockets.
Kim, you say that this was a face-saving move by Hezbollah. What did you mean by that? And is this an indication that there will be a further escalation?
Well, as you recall, there were two major figures in Hezbollah and Hamas killed around the same time about a month ago. One of them was Fuad Shukr, a top Hezbollah military leader. He was killed in a southern Beirut suburb, and Israel claimed responsibility for that. So ever since then, that was seen as an insult to Hezbollah that they had to respond to. But Hezbollah and Iran together had been holding fire because around the same time, Hamas's top political leader was killed in a strike inside Tehran. Now, Israel did not claim responsibility for that, but is largely blamed for it. And the great fear inside Israel and without was that Iran and Hezbollah would coordinate retaliatory attacks that would then overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome system and cause major fatalities. Instead, what we have is a more piecemeal attack where Hezbollah has launched hundreds instead of the thousands of rockets that it has stationed across southern Lebanon, rockets and missiles and drones. And it is aimed at military sites, according to Hezbollah, which means no major civilian casualties, which therefore doesn't trigger an automatic wider response by Israel.
Yeah, you know, Kim, we were having a similar conversation about the fear of escalation back in the spring when Israel and Iran were striking in one another's territory. And the question was, how far will they go to make the point and to retaliate without crossing the line that would bring in other world players? And now that we're expecting a phase two, how far does phase two have to go to trigger that introduction of the U.S., of other players, of Iran potentially, between Israel and Hezbollah?
So it's really not clear. We'll have to see what Hassan Nasrallah says later today, though he usually, there's usually a lot of rhetoric and not a lot of detail about what they're going to do next. I think that what we're seeing happening is that as long as those talks are still going on and there isn't yet an agreed ceasefire with the fighting in Gaza, you're going to see Iran and Hezbollah keep the threat of possible retaliation over Israel's head, perhaps to keep the pressure on for more concessions so that the fighting will stop for at least long enough to do a prisoner and hostage exchange and get more aid into the Palestinian people inside Gaza.
All right, Kim Dozier, thanks so much.
Thank you, Kim. And we have much more breaking news to get to this morning, including